Hey, welcome everyone to the very first Wizards Outlook for the 2025-2026 regular season. We got Cardell Dudley Jr. joining us live, as you can see, from Care First Arena, which means it is media day. I've lost track of how many numbers, what number one this is, Cardell. It's been quite a while.
11.
All right, it's 11th media day. With at least a couple of regimes that said, every year there's kind of a theme or what's supposed to be a theme or a mantra for every team when they get started. So I guess we'll start with that. I know you sent me a quote from Kispert, and I know we'll get to that a little bit later. But were you think about how last year went with the theme? What did you feel was the overall theme, and how receptive, how refreshing was it to hear whatever it may have been?
I mean, it's what's needed. Offensive talent is that's not an issue. They struggle greatly to get stops. And one thing that Kispert talked about, he said that they got up for the much better teams, the teams with the big names. They got up for those teams, and the teams kind of in the middle of the pack or teams, lower tier teams. They kind of, you know, I could turn it on, and they realized they weren't good enough to just do that. You got to bring it every night, no matter who's in the jersey. Still NBA play on the other side, and those games catch up. And then you look up, you out of it late December, and it's just like, man. So, with the vets they have now, CJ, Chris, and all those guys, that have won a lot of games, won the championship, and been deep in the playoffs. You kind of hoping that that outlook will flow on the young guys, kind of fall filter down to them.
Yeah, I'm happy that they spoke on it because we definitely saw there was I don't know how many nights that we got on Wizards Outlook and talk about the general overall inconsistency from them. Like every once in a while we'll see, before a couple games, be like, all right, that's what the standard needs to be on that end of the floor. And then we might not see it for another week,
Right.
sometimes two. So hopefully that's something that we see. That's a reoccurring thing this season for sure because it has to change. They're regardless of what happens, like they're fine on the other side. I know every year, folks come in. Some folks come in a little heavier. We talked about the importance of year one to year two, and sometimes year two to year three for young guys. Had a lot of young guys last year. Seeing them to start the season, anything pop up to mind in terms of who physically maybe looked a little bit bigger that took advantage of that off season?
Bub got a little bit taller. Saul said he grew a little bit. Cam looked bigger, a little more. He looked like he ready to make up for lost time. Trying to think. Other than that, some of the young guys grew a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So Kispert worked on his body. Just trying to get more in shape. CJ looked sharp. He looked ready to go. You could just tell by their body how lean and how cut up and guys are. They ready to just hit the ground running. Sorry, he got bigger. A little bit. So he said main thing this summer, he definitely was focusing on the weight room this summer. You kind of saw in the summer league right away how he was eager to impose his will, whereas, throughout the season, he was kind of trying to figure things out and guys would hit him first, and then he'd kind of respond. He was hitting guys first throughout the summer. So, that's about it. Just a natural progression of the young guys.
All right. So it's a great thing. All right, we'll get to going down some of the roster and get to some of the nuggets that you took from today. We'll start with one of the vets. We're happy to have him back, obviously, and hopefully he's able to play a little bit more this year. They got him via trade last year, but Khris Middleton.
Yeah, man, healthy. Obviously, he's been here for a whole offseason instead of coming over for, the tail end and the trade. You already know what he brings to the table. Being mid-range king, understands how to get to his spots and score, consummate professional. Somebody I think can help the young wings like Keyshawn and even Bilal. Killer Cam. If y'all know what I'm talking about Cam Whitmore. I'm be saying that a lot because he's a killer for sure. Even Will Riley, the rookie, he can help them how to he can help them guys mature a lot faster than normal because of what he's accomplished. He's literally done everything in the league. As far as from an individual concept, being an all-star, big-time scorer or whatnot, and being a key contributor to a championship team. He's done all that. So it's nothing but lessons in game you can get from that if you're on the lane. Well, all of them, but especially if you're a wing player, you should definitely be trying to pick his brain, man. So one thing he said, and proving he's a consummate professional, he's just like, he just try to play in the NBA as long as he can because he really recognize how much of a blessing it is. So it doesn't matter if it's a team that's rebuilding and trying to take the lead like the Wizards are, or if it's a championship caliber team. His approach no change. His approach to show up and do his job, man. That was refreshing to hear.
Nah, I think that's great for them, for all the youth that they have with his roster. We saw that a little bit in spurts last year. The times when he did play versus when they kind of shut him down for the rest of the season. Had moments where you saw just how many different ways he can impact the game. I think that's just a great example for the young guys, especially the wings. And he has similar size to a lot of the young wings on his roster. For to piggyback off everything that you named, I think that's a great example. And somebody who he got it out the mud. It's not a first round pick too.
Yeah, like he talked about Detroit. He said people forget his rookie year in Detroit where he didn't play, and he said his best with Greg Monroe. I'm trying to think who he named off. Former guy, I forget the names, but just vets that was trying to school him the way he's trying to school some of the youngest, man, so they can be ready. And he ended up, Tayshaun Prince was one he mentioned when he was in Detroit. So guys like that. So, he's been in this situation before, man. So even when he got to Milwaukee, same thing. They were trying to build up. He was there with a young Giannis Raw, trying to figure it out. And he saw Giannis become. He got to a point where he was the best player in the game. You know what I'm saying? He's still up there, top 2 or 3 if you want to be technical. So, he's seen it all, man. Got a lot to offer these young guys, and he can still play at a high level.
From one vet to another one, this guy's a little new. You got CJ McCollum. Obviously, you got Chris is a great example on the wing. This another veteran guard here in CJ. Your thoughts after hearing from him for the first time today?
Oh yeah, he definitely taking the young guys under the guards, especially the Bubs, the Trays, all the young guys, man. They gonna hear whether they like it or not, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. That's CJ's approach. Loves to talk. Threw Bub a little funny shot talking about his Browns got the same record as the Ravens, which is hilarious. So you're not gonna get into that. We won't say that, but Bernard is being a professional. One thing he's trying to grill into the young guys is that get a hobby, man. He says on our own season, and he said one thing that's a great thing, but it's also could be detrimental down the line is that they live East City basketball. Like he said, he asked Trey, like, "Yo, what do you do for a hobby?" Like, I just hoop. He said, "No, man. Like, what's your hobby?" Like, me outside of basketball. He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, I just hoop. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, look, man, you got to find something because you're going to go crazy because it's your job and the stress is going to come. Like, it's inevitable. 82 games and you need something to kind of take your mind and give you, just refresh you so you can come back to work the next day and bring the energy that's needed to be the best you can be, man. And these young, I guess it's a good problem for right now. One of the good problems, as Marlo would say, that these guys are so much of gym rats. They so addicted to the grind, the work of getting better that they don't look at it as like it's something wrong with not having a hobby. They just rather hoop. Like they bored. I'm going to the gym to hoop, and that's why they skill set. So so I'm not. What I say about Trey, man. He's a professional scorer. Ain't too many people with that label. He gonna score. So if he round out his game, he's gonna be a problem. That's the main thing CJ been trying to reiterate to the young guys, like get that so you can have balance in your life. He's at a different stage where, obviously he got wife and kids. He knows what's gonna happen when he leaves them. He going home, he grown man with business, you know what I'm saying? So, that's what it is. But just trying to reiterate that so they're ahead of the game. Also, little things like treatment. He said, "Bro, walk past him like, man, you old as dirt, dog. You getting treatment? We ain't even start the season yet." He said, "Bro, I'm being proactive. You need to apply this right now too." 'Cause he said, "Are you clowning me? I was clowning Steve Blake and all those guys when I was in Portland." And they said, "All right, you laugh now, but one day you'll be in shoes." And he said, "Look up, I'm in those shoes." And it's just funny to go by like that. So he's being proactive so he can prevent injuries so his body's healthy and all that. All the little recovery things, there's nothing wrong. You don't want something to be wrong, then you want to get on it. You want to be proactive and make sure, you know, you're on point with your body so nothing can go wrong. And last year he broke down, and he had to get right. So he had a long off season where he can build up, man, and be ready for this season, man. So, we all know what CJ gonna bring to the table. He gave the Wizards 50 minutes here. So yeah, they got a lot of that. So we already know what he brings to the table, man. So it's just about teaching them and showing the ropes so they be grind, being the consummate professional. That's the one thing I'm excited. Like it's one thing to have vets, but we've been covering the league a long time. And some vets you don't want around young players. You're like, nope, nope. You're gonna be a hell of a very bad influence. You're gonna lead them down the wrong road. But these are two vets that bring them. Yeah, we good. Ain't gotta worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And they can show these young the ropes.
Yeah, definitely nice to have another vet in that portion of the roster, in that position group, obviously with the guards. They had Marcus Smart. We saw the impact he had during his short stay here last year. So I'm happy to have CJ here for that. But yeah, the conversation with Bub, like Bub, you just played 82. Yeah, we need you to be proactive on taking care of your body as well. If you want to try to continue to do that, go for it.
But that's part of that young energy when you think you're invincible, man. I had that like in college. I hated ice. I really did. In the training, give me ice a lot. And as soon as you leave, throwing in the trash. Man, I got ice my knees all day, every day, dog. I'm chasing at these young boys, man, to jump. So, yeah, man, just get on it early. You'll be thankful later.
All right, I want to another one of the guys that are young, but he's a little bit older than some of the other youngsters on the roster. We got Bilal Coulibaly.
But we know he got hurt, during the summer. A little with some America, the little fever stuff. So, he had a cast on his hand. He doing what he can, but it's gonna be a minute. He gotta get right, gotta get healthy. Which is unfortunate. And it's unfortunate because that one thing that is constantly talked about from when Keith started media day all the way to the last, when Trey ended it. The competition at wing is real. Competition at the wing is real. And Bilal can't be a part of it because he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? So he can only be on the sideline doing other reps, but doing other stuff, running. Like ain't nothing wrong with his legs. So he can stay in shape. Do what he can do, get reps up with his left hand, work on that. It's still work you can do to be sharp when his right hand heals. So that's the main thing. But before he got hurt, he somehow he trying to get stronger, expand his range on his jumper. Build out his 3-point range and all that, and become better as a playmaker. Obviously, him being hurt kind of, staggered because now it's time missed, but that's what he was building throughout the summer.
Yeah, unfortunately for him being hurt. But I was gonna touch on that point too. It's the wing depth is crazy. On this roster, camp should be interesting to see who survives that crazy battle. So with him being out, I'm anxious to see who's able to step up and take advantage of it. Right. From Bilal, we'll go from Bilal to his countryman, Alex Sarr.
Oh yeah, man. We saw him during the summer. He was impressive. Set the summer league shot block record. Said he got a little bit stronger. Trying to be. They said the metrics said he was the best switch defender in the league last year. He had to switch on the guys, which makes sense because he did. He definitely had that. But his goal this year is to really hold his own with his matchup. You know what I mean? And being a better help side blocker. Being aware. Getting over, getting tongue tied, clearing the lane for blocks, the alter shots. but still, being able to get out the shooters, get back to his man, just being able to cover ground. Because he has the ability. If you're the best at switching, that means you're covering ground. You can move your feet even at his size, but 67, 7 feet. So, um, yeah, man. But with him, we saw doing something. He's more confident. More belief in his game where he know what he can do, and then it's just a matter of you just impose your will. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing I love about a lot of the young guys. They not the type of young guys we're at all. They like, nah, we at you. You just want to beat us, but we at you. So he's a little bit more quiet than that. He don't verbalize it as much, but you can tell when he plays, he on that same type of time.
Yeah, I don't think that's the biggest thing. I'm not shocked at all about the incredible rates about him switching. I think that was something you touched on, leading up to the draft with him. And I think after he was drafted, we saw that was on full display last year. That ability can allow them in the coming years to be one of the better defensive teams in the league, of course. But that last part, though, I'm anxious about him getting to the place where you were screaming the bigs were coming, right? They're here now. We're in that new cycle of everyone has 2 or 3 bigs. Get to the place where you can handle the premier guys at your position, hold up against them defensively. Then I think that's when it takes being a good defensive team to a great defensive team. We're able to do that because, like you said, with athleticism, the switching stuff, which could be hard to somebody else, that comes easy to him. It's the Giannis going crazy. Turn the water off. Don't let Joel go nuts. Like it's
Joe gets
man.
Let's get enough stops where we can win. You can't stop him, but get enough stops where we can win.
Slow him down. Just cutting the water off. On to another young guy, Bub Carrington, who changed his number.
You know his personality, man. Hilarious. Came in there joking. His thing is just playing off of new guys he got traded. In the backcourt. Building out his range, his 3-point range, and he said one thing he wanted to focus on was, the metrics say he was a very poor finisher when he got in the paint. And, he got to get better at making those layups and stuff, making those floaters and making those rim shots. We know he lives in the paint. He can get in the paint at will, especially off a pick and roll type situation, picking slip type situations. He knows how to manipulate the defense. He knew that in college, but when he get down there, you got to be able to finish, get those easy points, get those 3-point plays, put fouls on the bigs. You know what I mean? So, that's the main thing. And just being competitive, man. You could just tell he eager to get started, trying to keep building off what they started last year, and try to win more games, man. That's the thing. The thing outside of the defense, competition, every day, competition, and you remember draft night when Will Dawkins said, last year we kind of let the young guys play through it. Now you got to earn everything. And I'm not saying they ain't earn it, but now it's so deep. The roster's so deep with young talent. If you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, your game gonna play. And that's a good problem I have now. Forces everybody to be on their game. And then practice and workouts just keep pushing everybody, you know what I mean? So we know what to expect from Bud, man. Just be a leader, just take that next lead as a floor general. You know what I mean? So one thing, I know I'm gonna touch on it more when Trey was talking about him. He said the team is faster when Bud has the ball because he said when he gets the ball when he's running point, you gotta beat him down the floor. Where everybody else kind of it's a pace game, you know what I'm saying? Especially like CJ, somebody like that. He ain't trying to run at the stage, you know what I mean? He may get it up the court quickly, but it's not gonna be fast. He said with Bud, and if you ain't running, you just gonna be left out. So he said that's the difference he's learned so far, playing with him. I can tell you what Bud mindset is, man. He's trying to use the pace to give them an advantage because they got so much versatility, so many shooters, so many scores. Guys, athleticism as well. Guys that can get up and down, do a lot of different things. It's hard for defense to consistently keep getting set to match up with different guys, and that could be an advantage for the Wizards. So I like that approach that he's already kind of instilling, already himself. I don't know if Keith and the coaching staff are telling him to do that. We'll learn that later on as training camp is come. But Trey mentioned that that's the case with him. So that's a good problem, man. Obviously, him and Cam Whitmore go way back to when they were little kids. The Mount Royal days, he made a comment. He's like, "Yeah, that's my son. That's my father. I'm his father. Take care of him, show him the ropes." And that comment was made to Cam. Cam was like, he said that, and you should have saw his face. Like he he was about to break out laughing, man. And, Cam always makes stories since he was in high school. He don't really give off a lot, but yeah, that caught him off guard. He said because Cam was like, "That's my little brother, and I take care of him." Like, nah, he said, "You his son." So that kind of tells you the chemistry and camaraderie that's within the roster, man, which is always good to have. Uh, with a lot of young, talented dudes competing, it could easily go the other way. And you gotta start getting rid of people so we can reel this back in because it's just toxic. Man, I'm glad to see that it's healthy competition instead of toxic competition. But no,
Uh,
but we know what they're expecting, but
No, I was just gonna say I'm happy that it's a healthy type of competition as well. And I was gonna say, thinking back to summer league, I think we saw a little bit of that too. Bud was pushing the hell out the Rocket summer league. Like they were really, really. There was a noticeable difference when he was pushing the ball up court than others. So great to hear that from Bub to AJ Johnson. So another youngster, but wasn't drafted here. First full off season. Here, what AJ have to say today?
looks like he grew a little bit. Yeah, constant dialogue about the competition about who's the team's best dunker between him, Bilal, Cam. I think it's mainly those three that they got the unreal balance. You know what I'm saying? So Keyshawn may hang for a couple rounds, but those are the three where you get nasty. You know what I mean? So, and we seen what AJ do when he getting open floor. He got in the lane, he got space to take off. It gets bad. You know what I'm saying? So again, love pushing him out. That benefits guys like him a great deal. But for him, it's just really, again, goes back to the defense, man. Can't give it back. You know what I mean? So if he's able to hold up, like he showed up impressive sign. Like it was some games where he literally the factor in the Wizards either being in the game or winning the game. He was going to work, man. So ultra talented, man. And part of he's another one I forgot to mention that the guy next to him on the screen, CJ, is mentoring, trying to teach him rope, better feel, just trying to speed up the field for the game at the NBA level. Because if he can get that, where he can blend that with what he does athletically and stuff like that, he can get nasty, man. Because, yeah, like, this is going to be an exciting team to watch. But the thing is, they got to get stops. They get stops, they can get out and run. And then it's going to be a dunk show. It's going to be fun to watch, right? So that's for him. He's building off what he showed us when he got traded here, man, because he hit the ground running in a sense. So it's improving defensively, being more efficient as a shooter, and then knowing when to shoot. And if he does that, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, for sure. I think his very first bucket as a Wizard, he put somebody in the basket. I think that's how he introduced himself to Wizard fans last year. From AJ to Keyshawn George.
Well, we saw him in overseas, playing for Canada, man. He did his thing. And he wanted to play. One thing he said the goal this summer was to be more aggressive, as far as scoring. A lot of times he said last year he was getting a paint, and then the coaching staff showed him even the message proved he got a paint. He was kind of like, I don't know what to do. Should I shoot it? Should I kick it back out for three? And they're like, oh, you already there. Finish. Like, you're be aggressive. And that's why he wanted to play for Canada, where they put him in a go-to role, and you saw the highlights. He was going to work, even in summer league he was killing. So I think he said he spent most of the summer here working out with the coaching staff, and it showed. Like his game is definitely taking the lead. He's way more skilled. Like last year, 3-and-D. You see him putting the ball on the floor, mixing dudes up, posting up, mid post, low post, kicking, making the right reads, cross court passes, He passes with curls in the mid range. Like his all around offensive skill set grew in a matter of a few months, which is a testament to the work he put in, how he worked, and his potential, which we saw last year. So, he's just more confident too, man. Last year, rookie, he was a little quiet. He'll talk, but he quiet. Nah, you can tell me that he's sure. Like, yeah, like, ready to get happy. You know what I mean? And you saw even as the season went on, he was quiet off the court, but when he got on the court, he's one of the rookies that's out there. A lot of people don't know that. Like I think, remember Draymond Green talked about it. He was like, "Oh, y'all talk," and because Bub and Ham was in his face and all that, like, "Oh, y'all talk." He's like, "Okay," you know what I'm saying? So he was one of that. You know what I'm saying? So now all of them on that time. So man, you know what it is for him. It's just his versatility and really locking down. He had the weight room. He said he got stronger because he wanted to build up his base. Because with his 6'8" frame, he can guard 1 through 4 depending on the matchup, depending on the team and the matchup, man. So like say the Knicks when they go to the lineup where they put Carl Towns at the 5 and maybe OG's at the 4, Kyle Bridges at the 3. Then you got like Josh Hart and Jalen. He should be able to go down there and rumble with OG. You know what I mean? So that makes him more valuable. But he gotta have the strength to do that because OG ain't a lightweight. You know what I mean? So otherwise he will only be able to guard either Cal or Josh Hart. So by him getting bigger, that just makes the team better and makes him more valuable. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, man, because he had a very, very solid year last year as a rookie.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait. And you talked about his versatility is something we saw on full display last year. He impacted, regardless of how many points he scored. It's hard for me to think off the top of my head like 5 games in his rookie year when he didn't have he didn't impact the game. I don't think I can come up with 5 games where I could walk away saying that. I know to your point, this offseason, far more decisive and assertive on the offensive end. So like you, I can't wait to see what it looks like during this year's 82. From Keyshawn, we go to Will Riley, one of the rooks this year.
Same approach, man. Just trying to figure out the ropes, figure out the league. Part of that intense wing battle that they have. To me, he's kind of in the same position Keyshawn was in last year, coming in as a 3D guy. A little bit undersized, got to get bigger and stronger. Which he will quickly soon, if he doesn't already realize, he damn sure will when the season starts with some of these wings in the league. I think he's one of those guys that he'll get better about going through the fire, so to speak. But we saw it on some of the, even in the draft, but some of the, he's talented, man. He got the tools, but it's gonna take some development. Mainly physically. I know mentally he's ready. And the thing is, he's a capable shot maker. He is. He showed those signs on the summer league. I think his coach said, his college coach said he's the second best as far as making tough shots out of the guys he's coached, and that's saying a lot. Underwood as at Illinois, he's seen a lot of players, so he has it in him, man. And it's kind of like just following the lead. Like I said, if I'm him, I'm with Chris Livingston every day, so I can get all that game, all that league knowledge, and I can kind of speed up the learning curve, so to speak, if that makes sense, man. So, that's what it is. I wouldn't be shocked based on where the roster's at, who knows, but I wouldn't be shocked if he spent some time in the G because it's just a log jam at wing, man. Like, at first, he might be able to be on the roster, but with Bilal hurt, or think about when Bilal come back, you know what I mean? So, it's a log jam at wings, man. I won't be surprised to see him down there, but we'll see how it goes.
And I totally agree. I wouldn't be shocked to see him with the G, and hopefully makes the most of it. And as the year goes on, when we see him again, that we're ready to take advantage of some of those minutes he may get. But the depth is a huge thing to another rookie. We got Mr. Trey Johnson,
professional scorer. Whenever his name came up with everybody that talked today, they just shook their head like, man, that boy can shoot the hell out the ball. And Corey Kispert said, he burns nets down. Like it's ridiculous. And Kisper's a pretty damn good shooter. And he said he burns the net down, man. Like he put the ball in the basket. And Schrader's one of the dudes that's a natural scorer, man. He doesn't lack for confidence, and that's what they are out there. Like he's super confident in his ability, and he's a gem rat, man. For him, the main thing is proving he can defend and make the right reads. He said, people kind of been asking, you can kind of tell people kind of been wondering how him and Bud will coexist, but similar size, similar all around skill set, but Bub is more of a pass first type of guy. Trey's more of a scorer, so that's easy. But Trey can make plays and Bub can score. It's the same dynamic. It's similar like back in the day with the difference between Baron Davis and Steve Francis. I always felt like Steve Francis was more score first, but Baron Davis more pass first. But they were both super athletic, do everything on. It's that kind of that similar type of deal, man. So, I expect them to do a lot of damage in backcourt. I expect that, I expect him to light things up, man. What I'm saying? Do what he do. But, the main thing is keep their turnovers down, and he got to get stops. Because especially as a rookie with his scoring ability, he's going to fire up some bets. When you get to cooking them and stuff like that, they're going to come back at him. If he can't hold up defensively, it's going to be bad for him. And they can play him right off the floor. You know what I mean? Because can't get stops. It's hard to stay on the floor. I don't care how good of a scorer you are, man. So that's the main thing, man. But offensively, he's ready to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think anybody's worried about the one side of the floor. It's just about making sure you don't get played off the floor. Because we know in today's league, if you can't hold up with that end, hey man, some teams are merciless with that. They're gonna do what they need to do to get you out of there. And we've seen it happen to a lot of folks. You don't have to be a rookie for that to happen to.
Hey, we saw CJ and Dame do it when CJ was in Portland. I ain't gonna say the player name. He ain't in the league no more, but guy checked in. They looked at each other. All I know is 4 threes came between Dame and CJ, and a 2-point deficit with Wizards went to 14. And man got subbed out quick. We ain't see him no more. So it's cold blooded with that.
For sure. On to Corey Kispert.
Oh man, yeah, him just getting healthy. His thumb. Remember, he messed up his thumb at the end of the year, so just getting that healthy. He said he feel like he got a new thumb. Like he said, now he don't even register that he had to get surgery. All those world class shooter defense. So they get his base stronger so he can hold up, and also not just him, but everybody on the team be more efficient, not just hitting threes, but being more wary of the threes they take. He said all three pointers ain't all equal. And he said everybody it shouldn't be equal opportunity for 3-point shooting across the board on the roster. Because you can literally shoot yourself to a loss. And you saw the Wizards do that a lot. So just don't shoot it because you're there. Right? One thing if you open, he said, or did you shoot it off a swing open, or did you just shoot it because you got past it and you ain't got a shot off quick? Like that's gonna be the telltale. See, right now, it's me today, man. It's Kumaya's Christmas, man. Everybody happy. You're gonna see when the war starts if what they've been saying is real. So that's gonna be the telltale. That's gonna be the test. Are they gonna stay disciplined with their shot selection? Are they gonna stay committed to the defensive end? Are they gonna do the things that they're preaching? And that only time will tell, man. The talent's there, it's clear. Like no one's questioning the talent. There's been some Wizards roster in the last few years. We like, they ain't got a chance, but they got some young, lethal players. How they come together and stay together, those are the question marks right now. So, but Corey harped on that, man, all day, man. You know what I mean? So playing smarter, playing more efficient, playing together, do good and bad. Playing, don't play down to your competition. Like he's the one that talked about the big dogs come to town with the big names. They get up for them. And the lower tier teams, like if Charlotte come to town, they play around. They don't take it as serious. So he talked about having that commitment to excellence for every game, and that would determine how much of a leap they make this season.
Love to hear that about establishing and living up to a standard. And my goodness, my ears, I could hardly listen to everything else you said after I just heard NBA players say all threes are equal. Man, I'm so happy to hear that. But I'm sure I missed some other words, but yeah, it's the truth. And but like you said, well, as you said that he mentioned, it's only media day, man. We'll get some preseason outings soon. It's about living to those words, not them just being, small mementos on a year where we're 15 games in. Like none of that stuff came to fruition. You remember that time that they said that? All right, I think last but not least, we got Cam Whitmore.
Yep. Killer Cam, man. We know where he is, man. Super athletic. Could score with the best of them. I think Trey said he said no one on the roster has stopped him when he got down here on transition. He said nobody. Like, he said you don't want to see that coming, man. With his athleticism, how strong he is, and how skilled he is. Main thing for him, again, defense. You got to show up defensively. Offense will take care of itself, man. Like, and obviously he's motivated playing at home, man. It's different when you play at the crib. You got every game you got to represent. You got your family there. Trying to get dusted off. You know what I mean? And he probably got even more motivation because Houston ain't go the way he wanted. You know what I mean? So, I know he eager to show like y'all got me messed up. I'm one of the ones, man. So, but yeah, man, however marks for him, man. Super athletic, like NBA dunk contest winning athletic, man. Beast attacking the basket, man. They hit the three, be efficient. Just make for him is just being a versatile defender because with his athleticism, there's no reason why he can't be an elite defender. And how strong he is, there's no reason why he can't be an elite defender. Being able to make the right reads helps side, being able to get over the screen, get under the screen, don't get screened at all. I can't imagine the wing willingly trying to post him up unless they crazy like a Shea or somebody like nuts like that think they can get off on anybody. If he too strong, man. 6'7", 220 with the way he can jump, man. That's not an easy win trying to post up. So for him, it's just staying in front of people, staying in between them, your man and the basket. And if he could do that consistently, he'll be more than fine.
Yeah, you always say if you can move on one end, you can move on the other end. It's just about doing it. Again, this is you have athletes among athletes on professional sports. Is one of the guys in the upper echelon in terms of athleticism. So yeah, if he's able to do that, you'll be on the floor. This is somebody I'm anxious to see if they can take advantage of that time until Bilal comes back. Obviously, he can play with Bilal, but just saying there's an opportunity here if you take advantage of it. And we'll see how that goes. But, man, definitely looking forward to see, obviously, with some training camp practices and whatnot, but just ready to see it in games, man. It's always great to hear the words on media day because everybody's undefeated. Everything's great around the league. But, I want to see it when it matters. I want to see how things start to work out. You had any other thoughts you wanted to share today with me today?
No, sir. I have clips and all that coming up later today.
All right, guys. So you guys already know. Let me get this up on the screen. See if we can get this up here. All right. So right there, QR code. Go and get that. That takes you to the FocusTV.com. Try to put that up a little bit more for you guys. As Cardell said, gonna have clips. So obviously follow Focus TV on your social media mediums, and we'll check it with you guys a couple more times this week. Man, looking forward to preseason action. Looking forward to, the curtain rising on the opening 80, curtain rising on the 82 for the 2025-2026 NBA season.